Hi, I'm Representative Scott Allen, and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. You've heard it said that Jesus is the reason for the season. Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Christ, the Messiah, the promised Savior. This person, whose birth we celebrate, is perhaps the most unlikely Savior you could imagine. He came down into a turbulent world to provide a path to victory, and yet he was born as a human baby in a stable in a small town with a bad reputation and given the name Jesus. Jesus' birth occurred in adverse circumstances. It involved an unmarried woman getting pregnant in a time when she could have been stoned to death for such a sin. Talk about cancel culture. It involved a poor carpenter as her fiancé, forced to travel hundreds of miles by foot with his pregnant wife to register for a census mandated by the occupying forces. It involved an evil king who would go on to murder a whole town of baby boys to secure his throne. Many people of his culture were anticipating a Messiah, rejected Jesus, some for their own political reasons, and some because, well, he didn't meet their expectations of what the Savior was supposed to do. At the height of his public ministry, this Jesus, though innocent, died the death of a criminal. It seems as if the circumstances could not be any worse, but God doesn't enter our difficult circumstances just to suffer with us. He does so to show us He can take the worst of circumstances and work it for good. The resurrection of Jesus proved just that. From death, He brought forth life, and from judgment, He brought forth salvation. This year, it seems to me the irony of the life of Christ is especially poignant. We in Waukesha just remembered the one-year anniversary of the Christmas parade attack. As a nation, we're facing record inflation. Confidence in our elections is waning. We read about civil rights abuses in China. We hear about war dragging on in Ukraine and the threat of escalation. And of course, many of us have our own personal circumstances that are challenging. How can the message of Christmas possibly help? Well, Christmas is the celebration of the God of love working good in less than ideal circumstances. Christmas is the celebration that in the midst of difficult and perhaps unlikely circumstances, God does not leave us. Instead, God makes a way. The words written by the Hebrew prophet Isaiah sum it up. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. Christmas is a reminder that God's love is a light that shines into the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. So, regardless of circumstances, I wish you a Merry Christmas.